Uplift. Stream on the free CBS News app.
We're continuing our coverage of the fallout from the Supreme Court's ruling on abortion. The American Psychological Association, the American Psychiatric Association, and the National Association of Social Workers released a joint statement saying, quote, decades of scientific research have shown that people who are denied abortions are more likely to experience higher levels of anxiety, lower life satisfaction, and lower self-esteem compared with those who are able to obtain abortion services. For more, I want to bring in Dr. Lisa Palmer. She's a psychotherapist and founder of the RenewMe Center of Florida. Dr. Palmer, what concerns are you hearing, from your patients?
Well, so far I'm not hearing anything yet because the ruling just happened, but I'm sure that's to come down the road. You know, Catherine, I try to stay out of politics, you know, especially on this issue. It's such a touchy issue for a lot of people. I try to focus more on the mental health aspect, and I know for sure that it's definitely going to impact, you know, people who were raped, people who've been sexually abused, for them to not have that choice. And I'm not looking at that from a political perspective. I'm looking at that strictly from a mental health perspective, that is trauma, and then this is going to be something else on top of it that they're also going to have to deal with for a lifetime.
Well, let's drill down on that a little bit more. So just walk us through. What I'm hearing you say is that individuals who have been raped or they're victims of incest, when they're denied control or a choice, this is like another trauma that they're experiencing.
Absolutely, because it's going to be a lifetime situation. I think your previous guest was talking about social status and access to health care and access to resources, and those who do have, you know, the financial ability will be able to maybe travel to other states that will approve abortion. But for those people of, you know, lower financial status, they're going to be stuck. And it's not just the women that are going to be stuck in this. It's also going to be the men as well, who are maybe having casual sex and now, oh my gosh, I have to be a father, and maybe I'm not ready for that.
Let's talk a little bit more about what people describe as this disproportionate impact of the decision, especially on low-income people and minorities. It sounds like you're already seeing that.
Well, I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm just predicting it because I'm looking at the sociological impacts of things. And you always have to look at that at the broader perspective, how rulings like this are going to impact society and people's epistemologies, you know, the way that they're thinking about things, because this is something that goes back 50 years and has really impacted the way people see their own freedom and their own autonomy and their own agency, and how they carry out in their relationships and how they're handling things, you know, with their bodies and their life. And knowing that they have that freedom is not there anymore so much. So it is something that is going to change the way people think, and it's going to have, you know, broader sociological impacts in relationships and also the way people are going to be able to, you know, handle their own lives and the decisions that they're making.
Coming out of COVID, many Americans feel pretty brittle, right? So does this abortion ruling compound the challenges that some folks are already facing?
Catherine, 100%. A lot of people have been feeling so much restriction from the pandemic and from isolation, and feeling a lot of anger, feeling a lot of depression over it, and just feeling restricted. And now there's this on top of the economic problems that we're facing in this country right now. So people are feeling restricted on a lot of levels. And to be honest with you, people have a very, very, very difficult time dealing with change and adjustment to even the smallest changes. So when you have a small change, it can create a very, very big impact. And we've undergone a lot of changes in our lives and in our society in the past couple of years. So now this is just another change that people are going to have to integrate. And it is definitely very stressful.
Well, you're seeing a landscape that is sort of multifactorial. You've got the economic piece, the inflation piece, the COVID piece, and now you're talking about sort of a loss of control piece.
Absolutely. And that has been there for the last couple of years. But not only that, people have been dealing with feelings of loss of control in their life for their own personal reasons forever. That's just something that as humans that we have to go through different aspects and phases of our development in our life, whether it be a breakup, you know, a divorce, grief and loss. Never mind when we're having some major issues happening in our society right now that are really impacting people as a whole. And so it's creating a lot of unharmony and unrest, and it really does impact our daily lives on a macro level and a micro level.
Well, we've been talking, Dr. Palmer, we've been looking at videotape of a lot of these massive demonstrations and protests around the country. Can gathering in a group or in a very public way, can that help sort of take the pressure off for folks?
I think that for some people it does. When they're part of a group, they feel part of a community, they feel that their ideas are being validated and they feel a sense of safety with that. But then there are other people that may be very stressed about that, right? Because it kind of goes both ways. There's always two sides of every coin, right? So for some people, it's going to create safety, and for other people, it's going to make them feel very unsettled.
We just got a few seconds left here in the segment. What advice are you offering to folks right now, or would you offer?
You know, I try to take everything on a case-by-case basis, but I would just say to really focus on self-love, balance in your life. There's just so many different things going on in our society that it can become very, very overwhelming. And we have to bring our energy back to within ourselves to find that inner peace. And if you do need therapy or counseling or coaching to help you do that, or prayer, that could be something that would be very beneficial for most people.
Dr. Lisa Palmer, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the rest of the day's news. You're streaming CBS News.